Okay. So, you know, I was going to go to sleep, and basically, before I go into this type of discussion, like, comment, and share. You know, Canada basically at Parliament Hill today, they passed a bill called Bill 28, right? They passed this bill, and it says an act to re- resolve labor disputes involving school board employees represented by Canadian Union of Public Employees. And so this is a big debate where, of course, both sides of the table, the teachers, Cube, union, and of course the government is basically saying that they cannot come to an agreement. And government is saying, well, if we can't come to an agreement, you guys cannot strike. And if you guys practice your rights to strike, because they just didn't come out of nowhere and impose a strike. So what we are going to do now is essentially pass Bill 28. But in the Bill 20, right, it's revoking workers' rights. And not just in Ontario, right, but in Canada. And that is basically saying that people who work for a living have no rights to be able to stand up for themselves because it's pushing in all areas, all variations. And this changes, the way we as Canadians consider, democracy. Because democracy is freedom to rights, to stand up for what you believe in, to be able to, have a fair share and equal say in what you believe in. And of course, discrimination, racism, all of that is not to be tolerated, and that anybody should not be treated in that sector. And we all know that there's so many issues that take place in the workplace. And so if you are in fact taking away the union, right? Because the union backs up the workers, and now you're fining the union, but it's an example, meaning Cube is an example of the teachers. So the kids need to go back to school, but the school conditions are not the greatest because two factors is very important: the kids and the students. I mean, the students and the teachers. But now it has become workers and workers from all sectors. So, how is Canada going to function? Or we don't want Canada to function as smoothly as it used to be. Times have changed, right? But our rights of freedom, rights of democracy, is something that is a foundational pillar. Now, Bill 28 takes away that fundamental right. And it's so ironic how they quickly move to motion in a vast period of time, meaning that it was in that motion to be able to say, well, teachers need to go back to work tomorrow, but they're not going to work. So they are going to protest. And if they're going to protest, then that means, right, they're going to be fined $4,000 each. And of course, the union will be 5,500,000 or something like that. Basically, a half a million every single day. So the teachers are still striking. That means it's much bigger than that. And what's happening is the rights of Canadians are being taken from them due to certain actions. So, right now, they have a big issue that they were trying to solve about the 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 truckers convoy, right? And they were basically getting MPs and the prime minister and all these politicians to come and testify about their position and what they thought of this, and if it breached the rights to the workers. And now, what I'm saying is the government came up with a different strategy to be able to pass this motion. So, who are we like? Basically, what do you want us to think? Who do we vote for? Who is the worthy candidate that is not, or worthy party that is not going to betray us like Bill 28? Hmm? Because you're taking away the rights of workers entirely. That means not just teachers, right? But it started off as teachers. Now it's changing to workers, meaning that, yes, times have changed. The money cycle has to rotate, things have to go. But if they have no rights to be able to stand on, then how would they be able to feel treated properly? That means it can become very, very bad in the workplace. And the question I'm asking is, do you want Canadians to work? Do you want the country to run smoothly? Do you want the safety levels of the country to remain low or high? Which one? Because if you put the people in a drastic position, then what's going to happen is the implications of that is there's going to be a lot of issues taking place. A lot of crimes will happen simply because people are not going to stand there and get treated so badly in the workplace. People are going to start to take the laws into their own hands because nobody wants discrimination or racism or, blacklisted or so many things. And Bill 28 is just saying that, okay, if you're owner, okay, that is beneficial for you. But if you're a worker, then it's a big, big issue. It's a very big issue simply because you don't have no rights. And to back it up, the union, you see what I'm saying? The union have no rights. Basically, you're taking the power away from the people and from their protection. So then, how do we go about, doing business? Because you need both sides of the party. You need the owner and you need the workers. Just like in this section, that is what's happening. So there's a lot of drama that is taking place. And this affects Canada as a whole because Ontario, right? It doesn't matter if, it's affecting teachers tomorrow, but if other organizations, right, decide to strike, it's illegal. Simply, maybe the country can't afford it. But to take away their rights is a big issue, especially when it's overnight like that. There's going to be a lot of people trying to move out the country. You know, they're going to go somewhere else simply because They came from somewhere else to be able to get these positions. But if you can take away their rights, then if you say, well, you're going to have a great pension and all of that, what if their rights are gone? Well, you can decide who you're going to give the pensions to, right? You can decide who's going to retire as a teacher, who's not, or who's going to retire in their position and who's not. That's very simple because Bill 28, imagine that, eh? Bill 28 is very drastic for all Canadians. You know, I had a video that I talked about, it being just about the teachers, but it's about every single person that works. And believe it or not, even though if it's good for the owners, right? It's still going to affect the owners because there's going to be no trust in the relationship. And we all know that working people need to work in order to position their lives. You see what I'm saying? Working people needs to do that. But people that own also need workers to work for them. So there's going to be a lot of trust issues taking place because if your rights are taken away from you, then what is going to come next? Hmm? What is going to come next? You see, there the education minister was talking about the fact that it's not 98, 99. COVID came and affected so many people and all these things. And of course, the system has changed and everything has changed. The impact of, you know, money flow is not the same. Inflation's is skyrocketed. And we all know this. However, we still need to solve the equation because if you're taking away the rights from people, 55,000 educational workers, they're not going to be able to afford $4,000 a day. But they're going to strike simply because there's going to be it's much worse than that, right? If this does not get revoked, right? It's going to affect every single person that is trying to work in Canada. Everybody. And if you get discriminated against, if you get treated with unfairness, if you get violated, if you get harassed, so many things can impact the way you function in society. Hmm? It can. The bill needs to be discussed a lot further because that is a straight turn of events. You invoked that and you knew that they would strike, right? You knew that they would strike simply because of the treatment. So it's like you're holding them as a leverage, saying, well, if we restrain from giving them their needs, there'll be a strike. If there's a strike, we need the kids back in school. But at the same time, we can't fully support Canada anymore. So we need to quickly do certain things to basically get in position to make it look like we are doing the right thing. So you're tricking the people so that you can obtain certain positions of power, just like the truckers convoy. Now it gets revised, and people, certain politicians, are afraid to come and talk about and testify in court about this issue, about their position that they took, about their actions that they used against the people because of their position of power. We need to solve this issue. This issue is very serious because if we're truly there for the kids, then the kids and the teachers are a reflection. How the teachers are treated is going to be a semi reflection of the students, simply because if you don't give them a certain comfortable budget where they themselves are living comfortably and they need to be respected because they can do so much. They could only do so much with very little what they have. And I'm pretty sure that they're not getting abundance of treatment. But then at the same time, if you're saying all workers, then you basically had planned this to put this motion in play. Right? So people cannot protest. Right? So you're putting a stop, making it illegal. Oh, you can't protest because so and so. And so that means you are basically getting rid of the unions. So democracy does not work in Canada again? Is that what's happening? Democracy don't work? We are not supposed to trust our politicians? So then why didn't you guys vote yourselves? Because you guys want us to vote for you guys. But if the relationship is not the same where you can trick in position of play, knowing that with this circumstances, it's almost like every situation presents an opportunity to do positive or negative. And I know Canada is financially up, you know, they're very affected by the finance due to the spending of the past few years. But if you think the solution is to pass this bill, then it's going to be very drastic because I realize all these numbers, number 8, number 28, like all these numbers, like the number 8, every single time the Queen on the 8, Shinzo Abe on the 8, Offset. I know this is kind of off top, but Offset 28. Now this bill 28. Why all these things happening? Is it a coincidence? Is this a part of a a bigger stream of plans that is taking place? Because it seems like it's one after the other, one after the other. It's going right after to attack the bill, to attack the people and their rights. And if you take away the rights of freedom, then what? Like that's like eliminating so many other sectors of jobs. That's what's happening. Things need to be resolved. Things need to change because that bill needs to be revised. Because, or else, people are just going to give up on how society is supposed to be. What, how is people supposed to live? Because if you're really saying you don't care about the people, you don't care about their rights due to a circumstance or situation that took place, now you tell me, doesn't that bill in the long run destroy children's future? Because children needs adults to take care of them. If you are destroying the adult, then what is going to happen to the children? Hmm? What's going to happen to the children? You're destroying the adult, right? Because workers, majority of the people work. They go, or not a handful of organizations own businesses that actually thrive, that they hire a bunch of people. But how's the relationship? Are they going to trust each other? Hmm? What type of environment is going to take place in the workplace? Because guess what? If somebody gets treated badly, right, they can't really call the labor board and complain because the bill is passed that you can't complain. You can't tell them what's truly happening. So are they supposed to deal with that? Hmm? Telling you, right now Canada is in a big mess. If Bill 28 is understood like how I have understood it, then it's a problem. It's a major issue. I thank you for listening, guys. Comment, like, and share this video. Things must change because you see, God is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. We are all His children. We cannot live in a malfunctioning society when we are the lead examples of majority of the world. If democracy is taken, then all those generations and centuries where we invaded in other countries to demonstrate and show them democracy will be known as a lie. So it's gonna even bring more shame to Canada. Hmm? That's what I'm talking about. It's gonna bring more shame because we are the ones who's teaching people. We are the lead examples. And this is what's going on. We can't figure it out. You know, parliaments are sneaking in movements, you know, saying, okay, yeah, we're gonna pass the motion to say it's illegal to protest. They're gonna go to Queen's Park tomorrow and go protest. It's not about the money. Because if you find them, they can't afford it. And if they pay, they're gonna sue you guys. And so we, this is November. Next month is December. And then it's next year, right? But that shows you that school right now is critical because the first half of the year, meaning, you know, if kids are not getting educated, December is around the corner, right? So kids will be getting ready for their first half of their exams. And if they don't get the preparation right now due to the strike that's taking place, there's going to be issues, man. Mhm. But then what message is Bill 28 sending to the children of tomorrow? Saying that, okay, if you graduate school and you become a worker, then it's very bad for you because you're going to get treated like you're nothing. Hmm? Like, meaning they can disrespect you, they can do all these things to you, and you're not going to get any answers. Truly, you have to just keep going. That takes away, you know, your rights as a human being. And that does not just breach the rights of Canadians, the Charter Rights of Freedom, but is the Universal Freedom Act. As a human being, it violates your rights. So that means it's basically also violating the rights of God, you know, God's laws. You're violating God's law. And I'm telling you, I don't want to be the era of bad news, but I just want to tell people, when you violate God's laws, there's usually destruction that is following. It's loading, you know? When you do that, the implications becomes very drastic because God loves the people. It's his people. You can't take away their rights. You take away their rights, then it's almost like you're warring with God now. Hmm? Not just the people, you're warring with God. Because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to get treated badly. Nobody wants to feel less. Hmm? I'm going to explain a story to you. You see, the Israelites, right? The Israelites was working for Pharaoh for 400 years. And the reason why God sent Moses to free them was because he realized Pharaoh had taken away their rights. So basically, he didn't give them no benefits. He didn't he treated them very badly. And you might say, well, you know, that's very long time ago, and they were treated the workers of today are getting treated 100 times better. And God said about Pharaoh and said, Pharaoh does not intend to, care for them or have any sort of plan for them. So to Pharaoh, these workers are just people that he can absolutely, use and dissolve at any time. So because Pharaoh treated them like they're nothing, Moses must come to change that effect. Meaning that any time a ruler decides to treat its workers or its people beneath what is truly real and good, then you have a problem with God. I do not want plagues to come upon Canada's land, but God does not lie. And if he does not lie, it only is a sign to show people that, You must change the way you are doing things. Because if you change the way you are doing things, surely good things will come out of it. We cannot take away the rights of the people. You taking the rights of workers is taking the rights of people, because the workers make money. Money rotates in the society and everything goes function. Owners make their money, workers make their money. Everybody has their position of life to play. Now, if they can't stand up for what they believe in, the fact that they're being mistreated, the fact that they're not getting paid enough, the fact that they need, certain levels of protection, then it's a bigger issue. Because if they don't feel valued, then they're not going to perform as they should. And that was what's going on with Pharaoh. And you see, Pharaoh could have easily changed his mind, gave the people benefits, which he had more than enough, treated them fairly, and God would not have come to destroy Pharaoh and Egypt. He would not do that. Notice Abraham, the same thing. He gave Abraham a chance. Sodom and Gomorrah, when God was going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he said to Abraham, look, if you can find even 50 people, then, I will not destroy this land. And they kept negotiating all the way to 10, and they couldn't find 10. Finally, God said, go and get your family. And even his family, right, his wife, turned into salt. You invoke Bill 28. Bill 28, if it's to take away workers' rights, then you're invoking a series of plagues, because everything relates back to the Bible and relates back to God. And whatever took place back in Pharaoh's time, in Moses' time, you can best believe it will transpire, especially when things are not going accordingly, when freedom of rights are being taken. It's going to affect drastically the people. And guess what? It's going to change a lot of families. It's going to cause a lot of problems and issues, right? A lot of heartache and all of these things. And guess what? The people, souls are going to be crying. And who is it going to affect the most? God. And when that happens, plagues, punishment from God. So that is my warning to everybody. Take it or don't take it. It's up to you. Thank you for listening. Have a great night, guys. Like, comment, and share this video. Bye now. Because people don't understand.